Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Thomas. Today we're back here with Scorcher, and today, well, hope you're ready to dance, because we got the top 10 Kirby bosses. Yep, time to officially start Kirby month. So yeah, gotta go with the bosses, which range from adorable to old sweet Lord Cthulhu. What's going on here? You know the types. So, who's the top of the top? Let's go find out, but definitely feel like a nightmare's gonna be on this list. Let's check it out. Be sure to like, subscribe for more. Hope you enjoy. Let's go.
Kirby, that's a name you should know. Kirby, he's the star of the show.
This month, we're paying tribute to the deceptively adorable gumball with an appetite for destruction. And pretty much anything within reach. And what better way to kick things off than with bosses? When it comes to enemies, Kirby's are usually one of the highlights of their respective games. They can either be just as colorful as our titular blob, or...
well, that! Get the holy ladder!
the stuff of actual nightmares. Kind of like Kirby himself if you think about it too hard. And I
Don't
know
please.
you will. I know my audience.
Uh-huh. Alright, let's start it up. Who's first?
To kick off this list, we have the Master Manipulator, one who possesses the dark ability
Marks?
to misdirect, deceive, and make the most dangerous, diabolical objects appear out of thin air. They are...
What?
Huh?
Pumpkin? What?
Squashini is the boss fight at the end of the
Squashini?
Treatland segment in Kirby's Epic Yarn. As far as Epic Yarn bosses go, Squashini has the unique gimmick of stringing along a slot machine to dictate his attacks. Get it? Magician? Slot machine? Vegas? I don't know. I don't gamble. The first of these is
Fair,
three hats,
same.
where you have to play the shell game to find which hat he's hiding under. Then you have 3 cards, in which you'll start dealing cards like they're ninja stars. Finally, there's 3 capes, where Squashini will turn his wand into a cape that throws bombs at you. And like most magicians, Squashini is a master of misdirection, and occasionally his slot machine will land on 3 ropes. He'll close the curtain and it reopens on Kirby tied up to a giant bomb that you gotta wriggle out from. Squashini's boss fight is very creative on how well it uses the Vegas aesthetic. It's not every day that one tries to kill you with cards in a way that doesn't involve
that's a
dying of
scandal.
embarrassment when it's revealed that you bet 10,000 on a pair of 2s.
Son of a...
Yeesh.
However, I can't put this boss any higher since it is an Epic Yarn boss, so others
yeah,
on
not
this
that tricky
arguably
when you
pose a
figure it
bigger
out.
threat. That said, I only felt it was appropriate to give Squashini from Kirby's Epic Yarn
Yeah,
a
let's see.
comfy spot at number 10. And that's what I get for hiring co-writers. Oh well, you reap what you sow.
Yeah, you did it again! Poor Josh cannot escape the puns. Number 9?
In Kirby Superstar's Great Cave Offensive,
Offensive?
you face off against a variety
Whoa.
of bosses in your search for treasure. Of them, none are more memorable than the...
Get you! Boy!
Well, I can't edit anymore. I just got a computer virus.
I'll get you, and I'll look like a bloody accident.
Okay, like a funny
form of
accident.
a pseudo-turn-based RPG,
So
complete with
virus,
enemy
though.
turns and damage numbers. Each of the enemies consists of classic fantasy monsters. You got your slimes, wizards, dragons, and... puppets? Okay, that's
Puppet?
different. It even shows up
Hey,
later
Gino.
in Milky Way Wishes with new, stronger enemies to fight. And like any good RPGs, you get rewarded with completely pointless EXP.
Yeah, there. Char, back off!
Of course, once you get past the set dressing, the fight isn't anything special. It's just a typical Kirby boss with a fun gimmick. But hey, it's a really fun gimmick. Enough to earn it a spot. And the 2 nickels joke of the list goes to this and the other chomps in Super Paper Mario.
Pretty much. And number 8.
When it comes to bosses in Kirby 64, the often lauded best is 02. And because I haven't painted enough targets on my back yet, I'll just go ahead and say it. I don't really think it's all that great.
Did he just say? He did.
Don't get me wrong, in terms of atmosphere and build-up, it's perfect. But the actual fight is just kinda You just
Meh.
rotate the control stick and press A. I'd argue Miracle Matter is more effective at being a final boss. This is because it takes a far different approach than most other bosses in the series. You can't just slap on your favorite copy ability and then tear it apart. Each of its attacks represents a different copy ability of yours, and in order to attack it, you must inhale its own projectiles and then use those abilities to fight it. Try otherwise,
Damn,
and
that's
it's
gonna
just not
break-
going to do any damage. Not less damage, no
None
damage.
at all.
It's a good battle that feels like a proper final test of all the abilities you've used throughout the story. Of course, if you're used to fighting bosses without abilities, this would also feel right at home for you. And yes, I do consider it to be a better climax than 0-2. Or you're like the several kids who never got every crystal shard, effectively making Miracle Matter the actual final boss, which, you know, is cool too. If you can overlook the queen possibly killing Ribbon at the end.
Ooh. Creepy. Yeah, I think you want to go for those crystal shards. Otherwise, that ending's gonna just be like, oh lord, we just screwed her over. Sorry. I feel like that's what happened, but yeesh. Alright, we'll move on to the next one. 7's up.
I make art until someone dies.
Canvas Curse had a unique movement
Mix?
system where rather than controlling Kirby, the player used the stylus to make a path for him to move across levels. It's a really neat mechanic, and helpful considering our main baddie basically amputates our blob boy. Okay, so there's more to it than that. Dracia, the game's main villain, is an insane megalomaniacal witch born from a painting, who turns the world into her own twisted canvas to make it her newest masterpiece. Kirby stands up to her
Oh, boy.
and gets turned into a ball.
Into a ball.
Like, even more of a ball. Being the
Yep.
orchestrator of this dreaded art project, Dracia has been painting the other bosses in the game, including our other boy DDD, to slow us down. But in the final leg of the game, she's got no more doodles to hide behind, so we're taking her down one-on-one. The Wicked Witch of the Arts hovers menacingly above the battlefield, swooping down or firing electric balls at you, and occasionally summoning reinforcements with her paints. You draw an escape path to dodge her, tap the projectiles back at her, and then dash through her when she's finally down. Oh, hey, that wasn't so bad. Usually Kirby
And-
final bosses are a lot scarier than...
3, 2, there we go.
Knew it was coming? Took the bait
We all
anyway.
knew it was coming.
So after we basically murdered Dracia, her soul
Whoops.
takes over the fight as an eldritch abomination, and I'll be danged if that isn't some brilliantly freaky imagery and sound design. Unlike her semi-corporeal form, the soul relies more on physical attacks than magic, bouncing back and forth across the zone, tossing colored blades and clutter at you, and bringing out a few monstrous eyeballs called paramatters to sick them on Kirby. She puts you more through the ringer than when she was alive, but dodge, tap, and stun her enough times and she'll be forced back into her painting where she can't hurt anyone anymore.
Sorry, I must have missed that one.
I think Canvas Curse did
What is
pretty
with the
well for
Kirby
the
franchise and
franchise's
Souls
maiden
just
voyage to the
being
DS,
Eldritch
mostly
Abominations?
thanks to
Like,
Dracia.
seriously,
The shit from
you'll
a
see what I
kind of
mean in a
cute
minute.
maniacal
There's
gremlin
so many
to,
souls.
I think, like the
Dark
10th
Souls,
horrifying thing we
Megalor
had in this
Souls,
franchise.
Dracia
Kind of
Souls.
brilliant. And the obsession
Whoa.
with dominating over art is a neat twist. Plus, I really appreciate how the fight tests your ability with the touchscreen gameplay. Kind of makes me wish the DS stood the test of time.
Womp womp. What are you gonna do? Alright, number 6. Oh, Galactonite coming in.
Galactonite, an ancient hero so powerful that he was sealed away out of fear over what
power.
destructive potential he could impose onto the universe. Throughout the series, this legendary warrior makes his grand entrance as a titular super boss. Debuting in Superstar Ultra, he is summoned by Nova under Meta Knight's wish to face the greatest warrior in the galaxy. The fight is... okay. I mean, yeah, it was cool for the time, and the challenge level definitely helps it stand out, but nowadays he just comes off as a coward who keeps guarding and standing out of range of your attacks. Doesn't help that he keeps going off screen and sticks his minions after you. It was fine enough as Meta Knight, but fight him as Kirby and the tedium
really starts to show.
Thankfully, it's still a strong enough debut to assure him a grand legacy going forward. And boy, did his fights get so much better from here.
So which one's the
Return to
best?
Dreamland became his first surprise comeback, and he comes off as an absolute fast-paced menace. He kicks up by slashing and diving at you with his spear, staying swift both on the ground and in the air. Get him to half health, and he starts sending a whole light show after you, summoning thunderbolts from the sky, sword beams that bounce across the battlefield, and his traditional clockwise laser that also spawns a magic shockwave on the ground. Oh, it gets even better in Planet Robobot. Here, Meta Knight, once again, decided to summon him with the aid of another wish-granting piece of machinery.
Of course.
When Galacta comes out, he gives Stardream a good old slice before taking you on for a third round. His attacks are similar to the ones in Return to Dreamland, but get spiced up just enough to make him more challenging. Oh, and he straight up cuts through the fabric of reality. To
Look at that.
Giant laser after you. Suffice to say, Galacta has really done his duty in showing us that the title of most powerful hero is not to be taken for granted.
Nope.
For that will always bask in his glory, no matter what Butterfly decides to take his body away.
Speaking of which, we'll get to him in a minute. Number 5. I think.
Kirby has fought all manners of eldritch monsters and world-destroying threats, some of which we may see later along the line. Through all of it, it only makes sense that there will be someone or something at the top of the food chain. Something big, scary, and eats everything in sight.
That's King Dedede.
Okay.
No.
We're talking about Void Terminal.
Void Terminal, there we go.
Revered as the Dark Lord of Destruction, it is released from its seal
The
by the
Pharaoh of
maniacal
Worlds.
efficient Highness in an effort to bring despair to the universe. This Goliath has huge expectations to live up to as the most powerful enemy Kirby has ever fought. And it delivered. Most.
Kind of.
You kick off the fight in a shooter segment, gunning down Void Termina's weak spots as the beast slams the ground and swings its elemental arm blades at you. Once you wither it down, you enter its body where you break open its heart and free Highness and the Mage Sisters for the Dark Lord's digestive tracts. Enter the second phase. Void Termina takes the form of a soaring avian as it hurls all manner of javelins, arrows, and battle axes at you. Ah, there's the Fire Emblem reference we all know and love. And that's not enough. It even fires huge rays of lasers at you with the Master Crown. Defeat this phase, you go to its body one more time, where you face Void's true form. So, what does the strongest entity in the Kirby universe look like?
I am a shadow, the
true self!
Oh, great. Another you are your worst enemy allegory. Yeah, still better than when Okami did it. As the center of all darkness in the Kirby universe, Void comes packed with the power of various dark matter entities you've seen up to this point. Miracle Matter Spikes, Dark Mind's Mirrors, Dracia's Bouncing Attack, and so on. In a way, by adapting the power of these various monsters, it really is kind of like Kirby. Of course, between it and Kirby, Void shares one critical weakness. It's a hollow being who feels no love or friendship. As such, you can actually hurt it with the friendship heart. It even carries over to the finishing blow, where Kirby decimates it with the support of his allies, literally killing it with the power of friendship. And if all that is enough, the Soul Melter EX version of the fight is not just harder, it might be the toughest fight in the whole series. The shooter part is much more challenging, with Void Termina's attacks becoming more complex and having a shockwave attached to every impact it makes with its weapons. It went from shooty bang bang to actual 3D bullet hell. And Astral Birth Void, oh man, it doesn't slack off either. This thing comes with screen cleaning attacks and even summons a watery grave to mess with your movement. All the while we get an extremely long and complex boss theme that gradually builds up to a somber tribute to Green Greens, painting what appears to be a melancholic story of an entity who reminisces over a peaceful life similar to Kirby. What tragic fate turned it into this lonesome, chaotic being? We don't know. What we can do is purify it from its suffering and perhaps offer it a chance for a new life. To call this fight a visual and auditory spectacle is an understatement. Void Termina not only gave us an awesome fight, but provided us with a barrel of new questions to what we know about Kirby while still making sense somehow. That being said, I know this sounds weird, but I wish this fight had gone harder. The one we get in the main story is portrayed as just another dark entity we gotta fight and kill to save the world. Compared to other Kirby finales, it's pretty bare bones and didn't have enough substance to really give us that emotional impact. Really, they could have leaned even more into the tragic aspect of this boss. Like, for real, think about how beautiful it would be if after Kirby defeats Void the first time, he connects with the reflection of himself within the puddle of colors and starts to also feel melancholy for it, as he realizes the Void deserves to have what he has, but never had the chance. It would make for an amazing teaser to the post-game where we finally get to redeem the malevolent deity. Am I asking for too much? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's Kirby. They spoil us so much with all this dark stuff that feels wrong when they don't go hard enough.
I mean, that sounds like Kirby. You get some interesting backstory that they like even up, but still impressive enough if you don't. Oh. That looks sexual.
Queen Seonia is a tyrant, motivated by her extreme vanity and delusions of grandeur. She conquered the kingdom of Feralia and planned to expand her rule into pop star upon finding out that her people sought help from its hero using the Dreamstalk. Despite her ego, she does acknowledge Kirby as a formidable adversary and challenges the Puffball to a duel. Seonia is an agile sword fighter with a hand in sorcery to boot. She fires what appears to be lightning made out of dark matter from her wands and can transmute minions and giant jewelry from her portals. Towards the end of the fight, she rushes in toward Kirby with a flurry of warping slashes, as well as giant golden rings slicing over the whole screen. After you defeat the first phase, Seonia decides to use the very thing that Feralia created to bring Kirby to her against him. Combining with the Dreamstalk, she's set to maul down the entirety of Popstar. Thankfully, with the help of Floralia's people, as well as DDD, you blast through Sectonia's defenses and reach her at the tippy top of the Dreamstalk. You break through her array of floral swords as you gradually get closer and closer to Seonia herself. Finally, she surrounds you with 4 of her floral eyes and bombards you with all manner of spikes, lightning, and giant lasers. You hear the awe-inspiring Moonstruck Blossom play through the fight. It really captures the beauty of Sectonia's form, but perhaps there's more to it than that. For you see, fighting Seonia in the extra modes of the game reveals a lot more of how she came to be. A once good friend to her servant Taranza, who was gifted a dark mirror by him as a sign of friendship. Yes, that dark mirror. Not knowing the power behind it, Taranza accidentally corrupted her. She stares at it for too long and becomes deluded by a twisted perception of beauty, eventually morphing into the form she has today. Soul of Seonia even demonstrates that the fight is less of a power struggle and more of a cry for help, as Seonia subconsciously begs for Kirby to end her. Suddenly, Moonstruck Blossom sounds much more depressing in the context of what the fights are actually about. Now, as tragic as the fight is, I'm sure some would find it to be one of the weaker final bosses in the modern titles. Heck, some might say Void should be higher. After all, it's a harder fight with a much more grandiose lore attached to it. And to be fair, I think both stories are pretty interesting in their own right, and ordering these two could have gone either way, but ultimately, I'm giving the edge to Seonia simply because of this. Yeah, Kirby just swallowed a giant laser and spat it back at the final boss until she slowly disintegrated. The pink puffball may have a solid track record with beating evil deities before, but this is what really made Kirby into the level entity that we know today. Yes, it's not the hardest fight in the series, but it makes up for it with tremendous scale, presentation, story, and an absolutely spectacular finisher. We may have lost our beautiful insect queen, but we certainly won't forget what she did for the legacy of this franchise, turning Kirby from a simple monster-slaying series to a cavalcade of cute characters with depressing backgrounds. Suddenly it's less pink demon and more pink devil, don't you think?
And pretty much, some of these bosses don't even ask to be evil. Like, when you think of it, you know? They never asked to be evil, they just ended up due to happenstance, you know? Or they're just their own grief. Think about it, Seonia didn't know about the corruption, and just happened. Well, Oswald with Stardream, he just wanted his daughter back. He didn't expect it. Anyway. see the point here. Some aren't born evil, but
Okay, so
some are.
ordering these last three was hard. All three are practically considered the untouchable kings of Kirby bosses, and any of them could be number one given whoever's ordering it. That all being said, one has to go. Planet Robobot broke a lot of the series' usual conventions, going for a pure sci-fi approach rather than the usual fantasy elements Kirby employs. And when it comes time for the final boss, things get upped big time. After a back-to-back gauntlet of Mecha Knight followed by Haltman, the true mastermind of the game's events gets revealed. Haltman's own supercomputer, Star Dream, goes rogue and announces that it sees all life as futile and inherently chaotic, and so decides to wipe the slate clean. So a classic kill all humans, exterminate plot, but this is Kirby,
of course.
and Star Dream isn't an average supercomputer, no. This thing is a full-scale reality warper, and Kirby fuses his mecha suit with the halberd to chase it down. Listing all of Star Dream's attacks, we'd be here all day, but it's packing so much firepower, you believe it has no limits. Then it hops onto the Axis arc and becomes planet-sized, and things get even crazier. The music takes on a slow, almost apocalyptic drone, making you feel desperate as you slowly chip away at its armor. Not helped by giving off a strange, almost psychic-sounding scream, and eventually using the Axis Arc's massive spider-like arms against you. The second phase really does show how alien and terrifying Star Dream is as an intelligent AI. But break off the armor and... oh, crap, that looks like Nova. Oh crap, it's Nova!
Nova!
Yeah, Star Dream was a clockwork star this entire time, and now you've unmasked it. The metal behemoth now starts fully warping reality, starting a countdown and even attacking you with pieces of the old Nova from Superstar. Let that countdown get to 0 and Star Dream gets hit with a fatal error that ends up sending a near unavoidable shockwave of death toward the entire screen. You have 0 time to mess around. Throw everything you have at Star Dream until finally Kirby launches at Star Dream with a drill to pierce the heavens and goes right through it and just destroying it completely. Oh, you thought we were done?
We never are!
This is a Kirby game. You are done by a long shot. Trekking through the true arena unlocks a true final fight against Star Dream's Soul OS. Right when you think you have it, Star Dream turns the tables on you and inhales Kirby in an ironic twist. Inside, you face its heart, a literal god in the machine. Star Dream protects its heart with several pillars you have to break, and as you do, you hear Hartman screaming in pain. The implication? Star Dream's soul operating system is running on Haltman's soul as energy. Once you break all pillars and finally destroy the heart itself, you kill Haltman for real. Star Dream's fight is an absolute gauntlet that keeps going and going and going. It pushes you to the absolute limit. It doesn't stop until the rogue AI has been thoroughly and completely blue-screened. If anything's going to turn you off AI as the future of mankind, let an all-powerful god computer be the thing to do it.
Pretty much. Ooh. And number 2, we've got up in Mealor left. Let's see.
Fecto, aka the Great One, is the overarching villain of the Forgotten Land worshipped by the Beast Pack. Once upon a time, he was one half of the ultimate life form,
Not you.
but was separated from his more compassionate half, Elphalin. The pack's leader, Leongar, seeks to return the deity to its full form by reuniting both halves. But after kicking his majesty's tail in, it turns out he was just Fecto's mind-controlled puppet, and the horrific fetus monster decides, fine, I'll do it myself, and literally devours the Beast Pack, transforming itself into... Am I just becoming numb over how horrifying these bosses can get? Yeah, not really. Run
away!
So, yeah, Fecto ate the Beast Pack to turn itself into an amalgamated that called Fecto Forgo. And your only option is to
run like hell!
Run for your small pink life. Don't look back and shoot it, shoot it, shoot it! Fecto Forgo
Get it!
on the first playthrough with how claustrophobic it feels. But you do reach a dead
Get
end
a
eventually,
test.
and
Yeah.
it doesn't actually crush and insta-kill you. Thankfully. But while we make it out unscathed in the end, Elfilin ain't that lucky as he gets consumed by his other half. And thus, both sides are restored to their former glory.
Here we go.
Fecto
Elfilis.
Elfilis, an angelic chinchilla regarded as the ultimate life form. And dang,
Look
did
out.
it earn its title. As it circles the arena menacingly from the skies, it hurls a rain of swords and halberds at you. No.
Not that
Actual
one.
halberds.
Halberds, there you
Additionally,
go.
It swoops out to try and take a slice
Whoa.
out of you and fires deadly lasers. In its second
So-
phase,
what's
it
with
takes
Kirby
its
and the
opponent by
lasers?
trying to pulverize you with
Freaking
frickin'
lasers.
meteors, and attempts to heal itself by cloning. It's a perilous duel, but once Fecto's
Hold
almost
on.
spent, you do that, and then you chase it down as a semi-truck
By truck.
tries to hurl pop
Vroom, vroom,
star
motherfucker.
at you. Sheesh, all that's missing is having the touch blaring in the background. Following that, Elfilin does the heroic, sacrifice, and everything's
come back.
to normal. Oh, but yeah, you know this song and dance. There's still the post-game. And Elfilis wants a second shot at smiting you in its new Chaos. Chaos Elfilis is even more intense since along with its usual tricks, it can turn into a whole spirit ball.
Holy
But with the
crap.
Chaos Beast finally slain, Elfilin is given a chance to reclaim its remnants and merge them back with itself. This time, Elfilin's pure self remains dominant. Overall, facing Fecto in any form was an epic showdown. From racing for our lives through a cramped corridor, to holding our own in the arena, to pulling an Optimus Prime, to holding on to the arena again, these brawls really showed the scope of how far Kirby can go with a full-on 3D throwdown. And I cannot wait for the next attempt.
Amen. Kinda love the next one. Oh, let's see. Anyway, there's some stuff.
Mark's Superstar.
Ow.
Now that's good sound design. Mass DDD, Superstar Ultra, the one that started the DDD wears an edgy mask trope. Paint Roller, Canvas Curse, blatantly ignoring the double-edged pun. It's a pretty fun minigame. Necrodeus, Max Attack. Rudy the Clown Skeleton decided to haunt Kirby this time. Got his OHKO hands and everything. King D-Mind, Team Kirby Clash.
D-Mind, that's
the lore
it.
implications of this boss are crazy.
Oh,
What's
boy.
crazier is him pulling out the freaking halberd. No, I said not that one. Clanky
Yeah,
Woods,
stop it.
Planet Robobot. Wispy went metal, literally, and started terraforming the iron earth around you. Mage Sisters, Star Allies. They almost got nerfed by their own elements, but they eventually become your new buddies. Forgo DDD, Forgotten Land. And that's another point in the game of Kirby Bingo. DDD gets possessed. Morpho Knight, Star Allies, and Forgotten Land. He sniped the battle from the original boss. Twice. Every boss
Pretty
from
much.
Rainbow Curse. Okay, look, that battle music has no business going this hard.
Oh. Of course. Big on number one. Let's bring him on, everybody. Mealor!
All Kirby fans, young and old, bow for the coronation ceremony has finally come. We have crowned the #1 Kirby boss as the one true king of all time. Oh,
Hail
The
Mealor!
final boss of Kirby's Return to Dreamland is legendary for its impact on the community and how it shaped future games' final bosses.
No kidding.
Of course, it had to be here.
Him.
Of course
He had to be
it's
here.
number one. You all know the story by now. At the start of the game, Max crashes his ship onto Dreamland, its parts scattered all across the planet, and Kirby, being the trusting and caring, jolly pink fellow he is, vows to help Mealor repair his ship and get back home. Really, the name should have been a tip-off, but whatever.
Whoops.
That doesn't set off any red flags?
Land on Galakrond, and Mealor tasks you now with taking down Landia, the dragon that destroyed his ship in the first place. What Mealor didn't tell you
Tell
is
us.
that Landia attacked the Lore Starcutter in defense, because
Yeah,
his
defense.
true goal was the Master Crown, the artifact atop one of Landia's 4 heads. By defeating Landia, you've done Mag's dirty work for him, and now he's able to use the crown's power to usurp control over the entire universe, starting
Whoops.
with Popstar. Kirby and company chase the false king through another dimension atop a Splitlandia, destroying the Lord Starcutter and confronting Mealor once and for all. And yeah, this battle is iconic for a reason. Mealor sends energy attacks at you, elemental attacks, dark energy thorns, giant freaking lasers, and the customary black hole that every Kirby final boss seems to love. He doesn't even stop when you deplete his health bar, pulling out a shield that only super abilities are capable of punching through. But even taking an ultra sword to the face doesn't end this fight, because now...
Oh, come on! Mealor Soul. Right.
It's Mealor Soul's time to play.
The Master Crown takes its toll on Mealor, and yeah, I don't even have to describe why this fight is amazing. But I'm gonna do it anyway. Everything Mealor was doing before, Mealor Soul doubles that. Abusing and spamming his lasers and combining them with portals to make dodging even harder. He even pulls out dark mirrors of your own super abilities and just for kicks, flips the screen upside down.
Hey.
And even after all
that,
the remake,
we ain't
just
done.
for good measure, doubles Mealor Soul's health bar and makes it so now his most powerful attacks just get chained one after another, bordering on bullet hell. While Dracia and Marks came before it, this is the boss that truly solidified Soul bosses going forward. Megalor's final battle is still an incredibly fun and spectacular fight that holds up over his peers before and after. To this day, he reigns supreme as the best boss in Kirby. I'm the Fiery Joker, and next time on Kirby Month, we'll see the titles of which Kirby and these bosses get to tussle it out.
It's going to be interesting to see what he comes up with next. I'm not sure if it's just the games or what's going on, but we'll see. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that one. Let me know your favorite Kirby boss, and if you had a good time with it. See ya!